kitchen. Well, actually, it's not my kitchen. I'm in Florence, Oregon with my mom. This is my mom. This is Margaret. So, we've been out at the coast all day. Here are a few of the scenes from today's trip out to the coast. So, we've been out at the coast all day, and Mom and I are going to make shepherd's pie, one of my favorite dishes from when I was a kid. And it's simple and uncomplicated, like me. So, let's get started.
The main ingredients for shepherd's pie is ground or finely chopped meat. It's shepherd's pie, so traditionally it was lamb. Many people today don't like lamb, so many make it with beef now. But we have found range lamb, and it is ground. You need an onion, about 4 ounces of mushrooms, and about 2 pounds of potatoes.
You forgot something.
Well, that doesn't go in it, but maybe it goes in the cook.
If you have any wonder how I ended up the way I am, when my mom cooked when I was a kid, she cooked with love, spice for living. And see on the side of it, it has faithfulness, gentleness, goodness, joy, kindness, patience, peace, perseverance, protection, trust, truthfulness, and unselfishness. Love. One thing that we forgot that we're going to add to our meat before we put it in the pot is some chicken stock. They don't make lamb stock anymore, so make sure you pick up the low sodium stuff, because some bouillon can just be super salty and it's not good for you. So there you go. Besides, the show is just a guide on how to make the recipe. The actual recipe is typed over on the website, so you know, you can get over it. I'm going to do the vegetable part, getting everything sauteed and ready to go on our recipe. I'm going to use the lovely extra virgin olive oil, or as Rachel Ray will say, the EVOO. Just a tiny little bit of this. We're going to saute the onion, then add the mushroom, cook them for a little bit, then set them aside. Great, so we've been cooking the onions over medium-high heat, and they're starting to get this nice yellow translucent color. We're going to add the mushrooms, and we're only going to cook the mushrooms for a little while, because when we put this in the oven with the meat, these are going to cook up. So we're just going to cook these for a bit to take on the flavor of the onions, and then we'll get ready with the meat.
When you cook lamb, you have to be careful not to cook it too heavy a heat. Keep it at medium-high, never high. You would sear a roast lamb, but when you're dealing with ground lamb like we are here, it can go tough very quickly. So never cook it on too high a heat.
We've got our lamb ready to go, but we've turned the heat down to a medium heat so that that lamb, as Mom said, doesn't get tough. So now we're going to add our 2 packages of chicken bouillon or chicken stock and the vegetables all in one step. And the bouillon is going to cook up in the juice that's coming off the lamb, if I can get my mouth to work while I'm fighting bouillon. Okay, so we've got that in there. We'll stir that in a little, and then we'll immediately add our vegetables. And once we let this cook together and let the flavors melt a little bit, it'll be going in the pots. Well, great, we've got our meat ready, mixed in with our vegetables. We got our mashed potatoes here. We're ready to dish this up and get it in the oven. So what we've done in the bottom of these ramekins is we've taken a little of that bouillon and beef drippings and put it in the bottom. Lamb drippings, beef drippings, lamb drippings, let's call the whole thing off. Drippings in the bottom to make sure that each gets a little bit of that liquid in there that's going to cook up against the mashed potatoes once we seal it in. So we're going to fill these just about 3/4 of the way, because we want to put a mountain of mashed potatoes on top of them when we're done. So we'll dish up the mashed potatoes here. And these are nice and smooth coming out of the food processor. So they're going to meld up really nice against our lamb. I'm going to be a bad boy and use my fingers. We've got our mashed potatoes pressed into the top. We did this one in a circular pattern, and we're just going to fork these valleys in there, and see, that's what's going to brown up when we put it in the oven. So you can have fun with these designs, you know, paint your name in them, or, you know, whatever. It's just fun kitchen stuff, because these are the valleys that are going to brown up when we put it in the oven. Then we've got a beaten egg, or you can use milk. I like the beaten egg just because it gives it a nice color. We're just going to wash it, not douse it, just wash it with egg. So just get a little egg in your pastry brush and wash it as you go. Here we are with our finished shepherd's pies. We're about ready to put them in a preheated 350-degree oven. Now, the recipe says to cook them until the tops are nice and browned. We're guessing that somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes, but keep a sharp eye on it, because the last thing you want is burnt mashed potatoes, because that's just plain yucky. So, another thing you can do with these is you can make them up, say Sunday night, put them in the refrigerator under plastic wrap, and you can bake them up any day of the week. These are a really easy, quick meal. So, we'll see you in about 15-20 minutes. And here we are out of the oven, our finished shepherd's pies. You want to be really careful, because once these start browning, they brown quickly. So keep a really good eye on what you're doing. We're going to end with a simple garnish of some ground Parmesan over the top like that. A simple, you know, I'm not going to bam or anything, because, you know, I'm not Emerald, but, you know, a little garnish of the Parmesan cheese, and these are ready to eat. This has been another episode of Bob's Kitchen, and from Florence, Oregon, have a good night.
Along about the evening, I feel so blue, and though my heart is